I thought I'd come back and have a look at the maize crop, because we looked at it when it was just a sort of young plant just coming up, and I haven't been back to it for quite a while. So we're now at the end of July, and you can see it's grown a lot. I think it's probably just up nearly to my shoulders, and some in the middle even more. Because by the hedgerow and the gateway, especially the gateway, it gets a little bit compacted, and the soil doesn't get the same amount of muck on it, so it doesn't grow as well here. But you can see, if you look going back out further, we can zoom in, it's really tall. And you can see some sort of fronds on the top where I suppose it's going to be pollinated later. Anyway, I'm going to walk out there and we'll have a look and see what it's like. Here we go, then I'm going to start walking out through the maize. And this is slightly paler and not so good by the gateway, as I said before. If I can get out here further, you can see it starts getting a lot taller. Well, this is up to my head height already. And looking down the rows, here we go. If I pan up here, you can see, you can't see many weeds that have come back because they've all been swamped by the leaves of the maize. I have to hold the camera up and have a look across. It's looking really healthy, very green and lush. I mean, it's been very hot this year and this summer, so the maize is loving it. And if we look in the top of it, you can just see this spiky bit, which has got lots of sort of pollen type bits on it. If I just pull them off, you can see that dust sort of going in the air. And on my hands, you can just make out bits. It's hard to see it, but there are bits of sort of polleny yellow I can see, because that's not where the cob will go. The corn cobs will end up growing down here in the middle. In fact, I presume that the pollen falls down there and sort of fertilises whatever. There's a little spike growing out there. I'm not sure whether that will be where a corn will grow. But there's no sign of any cobs at the moment. We just got the start of this sort of polleny bit. I'm sure there's technical terms for these, but I don't remember them, so you have to bear with me. But you can see here, just walking through. Okay, let me hold the camera at head height. This is exactly my head height. So I'm walking through here. I'm going to go through some lines. Now I would expect this, if this is end of July, which it is, I would expect this to be at least 2 or 3 feet higher by the time we come to harvest it, and to have plenty of cobs in view. So we'll come back and have another look at it when it's got some cobs on it, I think. And just go back down the roots. You can see it's very clear. There's no weeds here now, hardly any. Certainly nothing going to compete. The maize has got ahead of the weeds, which is what the spraying's about. You need to get rid of the weeds to compete against them. And if you look here, we can just find the roots of a maize plant. Look, big chunky things here. There's one sticking out there. And if I dig around with my fingers, you can see them there. That's why they can do quite well in dry climates, because these roots go down really well. Cover that back up. So with this current season, I'm expecting quite a good crop of maize off here. Right, let's go back and see if I can find the lamb rover now. I think I'm a bit lost in a maize jungle. Head south. Need a compass, it's like being in a jungle. Oh, crikey, I've just spotted the first cob. Didn't expect that. Here it is. This plant's obviously a bit more mature than some of the other ones. It's got the fronds on the end, and in there will be the start of a small cob, corn cob. And that is quite surprised, didn't expect to see that. That plant's obviously is a bit taller than the rest. It's obviously got going, because the rest aren't really at that stage yet. But this line does seem to have a few of them, so I think this line is slightly more mature than the others for some reason. There's another one forming there. two on there, that plant there. But there's no way, I can feel there's no cob in there yet, it's just the start of it. So we're not far off actually the corn cobs coming. Anyway, let's get... I just thought I'd stop and look at this maize plant because it particularly shows how well the root structure is. You can see coming down under here, thick tap roots of a maize plant. Look at them, they're pretty hefty. Now those are going to go on down really deep into the soil and get nutrients and moisture. So this is why this plant does particularly well in a hot climate, because it's got these big roots.